Good evening, everybody. Today I would like to start with a question. I would like to know what your favorite special was when you guys were in elementary school.
Physical education.
Art. Music.
Physical education.
Physical education.
I'm gonna go with art.
Physical education. Art.
Mine too was art. I liked art because it was one time a week that I got to be creative and do what I wanted. So today I would like to talk to you guys about why art, physical education, and music is so important to elementary age students and their development. So recently, Fancy has been saying that schools have been cutting these programs from their schools because they're not in standardized testing and because of budget cuts. Fancy also says that art is typically the first one to be cut. Grace Lynch says that with art education, creativity skills, decision-making skills, visual learning, and motor skills are developed during this. Kids during art, during creativity, get to pick what colors they do. They get to decide what all of their art projects look like, which develop their creativity skills, which later in life help them decide on different things that they do in their classes. With doing these creativity skills, kids deciding what colors they're doing, what paper they're using, and the scissors they're using is helping their decision-making skills. And as all of you guys know, everybody makes decisions constantly every single day. And this is obviously extremely important for young kids to develop. Then visual learning is taught in art. Visual learning is so important to know because we're such a visual society. Every day kids see hundreds of thousands of pictures and they have to decide what they mean, what the author's trying to say to them. And Lynch explains that students need to know this stuff so they can get through life. And then the last thing that Lynch says is so important for art education is their fine motor skills. Kids learning to use a paintbrush, color, use a pencil, obviously they're going to use for the rest of their life. And it's going to go into different things that they learn, like typing. With motor skills, it's not only art that that gets developed. Physical education develops motor skills as well, but it's usually your large motor skills. By learning how to jump and skip, later in life you're able to learn how to play sports, to kick a ball, to go on a run, and stay physically fit. Physical education also develops team building and leadership skills, which, as everybody knows who's ever worked or been on a team, are so important to know. And also physical education allows students to be more active in life. Charlotte Kelso says that these skills are so important for students to learn because of just staying healthy. FitAmerica.org says kids who have physical education are 2 to 3 times more likely to be involved in sports after school or in other physical things with their family. Also, Fit America says that with having an active body, you have an active mind. And this is the picture I want to show. Sitting quietly for 20 minutes, this is what your brain looks like. It's very mellow, it's not doing a lot of things, but after walking for 20 minutes, your brain's very active, it's doing a lot of things. So they say being physical also also gives you an active mind. Physical education is not the only class that does this. Music also does this as well. Recently, there's been studies on kids playing music and listening to music and how it's so important for the brain and how it's almost like this and it just gets your brain working like fireworks. And we're gonna watch just a short little video about what this actually does and what it is.
Well, in the last few decades, neuroscientists have made enormous breakthroughs in understanding how our brains work by monitoring them in real time with instruments like fMRI and PET scanners. When people are hooked up to these machines, tasks such as reading or doing math problems each have corresponding areas of the brain where activity can be observed. But when researchers got the participants to listen to music, they saw fireworks. Multiple areas of their brains were lighting up at once as they processed the sound, took it apart to understand elements like melody and rhythm, and then put it all back together into a unified musical experience. And our brains do all this work in the split second between when we first hear the music and when our foot starts to tap along. But when scientists turned from observing the brains of music listeners to those of musicians, the little backyard fireworks became a jubilee. It turns out that while listening to music engages the brain in some pretty interesting activities, playing music is the brain's equivalent of a full-body workout.
As you can see, music, obviously, kids are listening to music and playing music, and as they say, it gives the brain a full body workout. Collins says that by doing this, it helps the memory and it helps the students to memorize things better and take in information a lot easier. As we've looked at all this information, we can see that art, physical education, and music is extremely important to students' development in life. Aaron Duncan says, a well-rounded education is simply too vital for our students' success to let the teaching of the arts and humanities erode.